So eating turkey.
All right. Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. It's your girl AJ, the Suburban Princess here. Sorry, my glasses are really cloudy. This is real hood version of this Coed edition, but we're back. We're excited. As you see Eddie there smiling. The Eagles are now 10-1. This game was ridiculous in
Oh
overtime.
my God, yes.
Um, it's ridiculous. Like Birds of a Feather, as we know, all of our fans or any of the people who even watch this podcast more than once or twice understand how every time I have dragged Eddie on this podcast because I want him to bounce off of me because I have so many thoughts, but only so much time to do it. Y'all know that game had literally this many type of emotions through it, and
Oh
not
my
just
God.
like any game this season.
Like the cardiac kids.
Overtime made me want to slip my wrist. Okay, I didn't want overtime. I wanted them to just calmly beat them because I thought the Buffalo Bills were looking better than they had in a while. So I said, you know what, 9-2, I'm fine. I'm not gonna die.
Mhm.
I was fine with it. But then good old Jake Elliott kicks that 59-yarder, and I'm like, no! There's 5 more minutes of this shit. So Eddie, tell me honestly how you felt. Did you feel confident from the beginning to end? Because I sure as hell didn't.
Well, the first half didn't give me much confidence because Allen came out playing well and they were dominant, but
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't pull away from us like they wanted to. But the defense gave up a lot, but they still kept us in business. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that was scary. I going and even going into the third quarter, it was like, oh wait, we're still gonna lose this game possibly. And then and when he hit Zacchaeus on that scramble play, I'm like, oh shit, Amadeus, he got it.
Shout out to OZ, as we call him Archimedes Zacchaeus. I told Eddie he's okay if he wants to call him Amadeus. I've been calling him Oz. So
I was just joking around, yeah.
no, I
So
like when you say it though, because you remind me of how to pronounce it. Because look, we got the lucky end of the stick when it comes to guys who have different long names in the NFL.
yeah.
Because there are some names in the NFL
Oh
right now
God, yeah.
that we do
And
not want a part of.
and look at Swift coming up big with a run when we need him to again. Like
Again.
always, like, hey, we need you to get a big run. He just break. That's what I told him. Like, I was like, oh, he's not doing that. He's like, just keep feeding him, and all of a sudden he just breaks one. Like, oh, there he goes.
So here's the question though: when they did give him that big run in was it over? It was overtime just before Jalen sealed the house with the TD run in.
Mhm.
Didn't you think that they were going to go back to DeAndre, or did you see that Jalen had the path already?
Well,
Because
because they
I
ran
didn't
it,
call it.
run it again, and he got like maybe 5 or 6 yards. So it was working. So
Mm,
and then they had to pass, and
hmm
then the run. Yeah. So that was like they didn't know what was coming next. So
Here's
and
the
look at
thing that makes
Smitty.
every
Look at
Eagles
Smitty
game
showing up big again too.
first half though. Don't lie though. It was slow. Like I told you, I almost fell asleep at one point because I was drinking my prosecco. It was starting to hit. There was nothing popping in the first quarter at all. Um, it's at one point I was like, how dead can they look? I mean, I get every first half has always been a work in progress, but like y'all couldn't score at least once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just
They went
bad.
with halftime, what, down by 10 again?
Yeah, it was like it ended in seven times. I take
Same
it back. It
score,
ended
same score as
17-7 at halftime. That's right.
yeah, same score as the Kansas City game at halftime, yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And that's what they were saying. They thought it would turn out to be. Well, okay. How many? Let me not show you my hair. Sorry. How hands up because I did get it done, but as you can see, I didn't maintain. Hands up if you thought honestly between Romo, I had to turn him off at one point, and I had to listen to WIP. But WIP is like 20 minutes behind, so it was hard because the TV will be moving faster than the actual WIP radio program.
Yeah.
So as much as I love Merrill, but at one point when Tony Romo was talking about gym dance was sexy, I was like, and that's enough. I couldn't do it.
Romo was kind of getting on my nerves a little bit,
He
actually.
was irking the shit out of me, and I told you I like him as a commentator,
I,
but
I,
he
I like
really
him
irked
too,
me
but
yesterday.
he was doing a bit of Bill's dick riding too during this whole.
Yes. I just had to mute a
He's
lot of
usually not.
memes. I had to mute a lot
He's
of memes yesterday on
not
Twitter
like
because
that.
people were being so nasty.
Yeah,
So
he's usually
nasty.
not
Like
like
there were
that
times I was
though.
like, y'all need to chill. It
but
was gross. But go yeah.
yeah, but usually he is not like that. But
No.
yesterday he was. He was just like, oh. I was like, usually he actually shows. Well, we know how the media like doesn't give us any love ever. So,
But he does
uh,
show diplomacy.
but yeah, he does. And I didn't like the fact that he kept saying, "Oh, that was a penalty. That was a penalty. That was a penalty." Like,
Yes. No, it
no,
wasn't.
he's trying to
No, it
say,
wasn't
"Oh,
Romo.
Swift got there too early." No, Swift, you're allowed to hand check somebody as long as you don't physically move them. I mean, he did get away with one when it was on the inside, nobody could see it when he was grabbing the jersey. He got away with
Yeah.
that one.
And
And
honestly, and
guys get away
honestly,
with
if
that,
it,
and guys get away with that all the time.
that's why I
You
was mad when
know,
they decided to fine Goddard that one time because I didn't even think his push off was that violent a couple of weeks back, a month ago. I was like, why did they fine him for that? That was stupid. That wasn't even that hard. But whatever.
yeah.
They're picking and
And then,
choosing.
oh yeah, and then there was like, was it the roughing the passer one? I was like,
I
they're
didn't look
trying to
at the
say, oh, he
replay.
roughed the
What
passer.
happened? They said he pushed him. Like, what was the reason for the that?
Well, they tried to say it was roughing the passer, but it really wasn't. I mean, it was, but he was within one step of the quarterback, and he didn't. He just pushed him down. He didn't try.
Oh,
He didn't
okay.
drive him into the ground or anything.
Because I was trying to think.
And
My
I
main
get it.
thing was he made contact. Is what they
I
were
get
trying to
it. Yeah, I get it if he drives him into the ground. But they called him for hitting him. He hit him in his shoulder and his chest. I get if you have a blow to the head. Okay, yeah, you call that. But this was like one step in. He hits him in the shoulder and the chest. He goes over. And they're like, "Oh, roughing the passer." I'm like, "Ah, oh, come on, guys."
Here's
But
the thing, though. I did think that was a horse collar, and other commentators thought on Twitter it
wasn't
was
it
too, but it
wasn't
wasn't a
though,
horse collar. They said later, but I thought it was the way Hassan ripped his jersey down. I thought that
because
was
I
considered a
mean,
horse.
he's pulling him with this arm. His other hand was on his back. You saw he wasn't grabbing anything.
Okay,
He's had his hand on his back and he pulled him down.
okay, that's what I thought. I was only thinking about that particular, but
Oh, and Romo and them swore that was a horse collar. I was
yeah,
like,
because I was saying the
well,
same thing. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, that's a horse collar, but they first of all
he
they don't really call those anymore like they used to.
well they do, but it's egregious. But he didn't have his fingers interlocked underneath the pads and was pulling them down. He had his hand on his back and he was pulling with this hand on the front of the jersey. That's not a horse collar.
Okay, I think I saw somebody argue that too later, but yeah. Well, I guess in quick time, the whole point was I didn't see him rip the jersey. I just know when he went down,
He had to get
my
out.
my
You
head
knows
went up and down a lot during
he
this
knows
part of
how
the game.
clean he knows how clean he was. He came out again. He's like, "Oh, jersey, you got a brand new jersey on." He's all clean again.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm like, we don't care as long as Hassan's doing the work. Hassan's always doing what he got to do. But he's always the one getting flagged usually. Actually, there were a couple calls they missed. Like I thought Slay should have got called for PI a couple times because Slay be always holding on to people. But I was kind of glad they let him play
Well,
because
that was the one I was talking about when he didn't see his. He was holding the jersey a little bit, and they kind of let it.
they let it go. Yeah,
They didn't whistle it.
yeah.
They were kind of letting them play because they got
They
away on both sides with
I
like
agree.
you
I
could have
agree. There
called
were
it on
certain
both
calls.
sides
Yeah,
the pass interference, but they let him play.
they let him
They
play.
was like, "Oh, we got there too early." It was like, of course, everything in slow motion looks like he got there early.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
But that's
know,
why replay is important.
yeah, everything in slow mo when they slow it down, it looks like the guy was there early, but he wasn't.
You notice how every time we have Romo as a analyst, it's almost going back to when Collinsworth wanted to debate every damn touchdown in the Super Bowl, whether it would count it.
Yeah,
And I was sitting there going, I swear y'all just trying to make us look dumb because that was a catch, that was an obvious touchdown. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't even think. Actually, no, the two Bill players that pretty much effed up their TDs.
oh yeah,
That alone wasn't even that was just on them. You know what I mean? Like the
yeah,
one player just didn't have his concentration on the
yeah,
ball when he was
and
receiving it.
also Allen had to rush a lot of his throws too
Yeah,
because
he did.
we were like that close to getting him a lot of times, so he had to get that ball out. He had to hurry up and get it out. So there was a
Yes.
couple miscues between him and his people.
Oh yeah, Gabe had every right to be mad at himself because that was a money touchdown and he effed that up real bad. Like I'm sitting here going, dude, you could have just ended this game for me. My stress can't take it, and you just didn't turn around at the right
Hey, but you
damn
know,
time. You only had
I'm happy the way it
I
ended.
was so frustrated until Bradbury got a pick because I felt like he is just was like not tuned in until that pick.
Bradbury, Bradbury seems like he's been getting beat a lot, and that's the
Yes.
thing that's been bothering me about him lately.
Oh my God. I can't tell you how many guys were on Twitter just giving him options for another job. It's just so many people like, yo, it's time, man. Like, why do we
Well,
sign him?
both of those guys are getting old too. So I
Him
mean,
and Slay,
well,
yeah.
Bradbury's not getting old. I mean, he's Slay's older than he is, but
Slay's older, but Slay when he does get people is great, but majority of the time I'll be like, that's why they be flagging you all the time because you be trying to hold on to folk. I give him credit for that one tackle, it was right on time, especially at the end of the Cowboys game because he saved us. He saved that touchdown that could have ended it. But
mm,
yeah, Slay be missing a step. Bradbury just be like unsure sometimes, and he just because I saw one guy tweeting, he was just like, "Yo, Bradbury just be standing there. What the f do you do, man?"
yeah, right. Like, what do you?
Your job is to sit there and just look and say, "Oh, there he goes."
Like, yeah, it just seems like he's getting picked on a lot. Like, it's just like it's crazy.
Because they were saying at one point, obviously, I didn't realize that Zach Cunningham had hurt himself, so that's when they put Ellis
Oh,
in.
when Cunningham left, Ellis did okay, but when
He did okay, but he got
you can definitely see the difference. Like he
yeah,
made a
yeah,
couple
yeah.
good plays, but there's a
Yeah,
couple
he's not a bad
passes that
player because that's why they need him on special teams because he is effective and sometimes he
yeah.
has been really good for coverage. But and special teams, I'm sorry, first half to me, special teams made everybody look lazy. I thought special teams did their thing. Covey got his. Now everybody talking about Covey should be a Pro Bowler. I was like, pause. He hasn't broke one yet.
Well, I
He
mean, do
getting
you want to
better, but
call
he hasn't broke one totally yet.
he's due for one. I think he's due soon.
I
He,
hope because if not, I want Boston Scott back there because Boston always knows how to get around it. He
yeah,
just
but the
hasn't
thing
been
is,
able to
like,
complete it.
he's been pretty with like lately. He's definitely proven over last year. Like he's been smart with like knowing when like to fair catch it, when not to,
Yeah,
when
no, yeah,
you
that's evident the
know,
growth. So something's working for
yeah.
him, and I'm for that special teams coach. That's good for him because we were all throwing his ass out too last season. Like I was like, yo, you need to fire the special teams coach, but
I'm still on. I mean, granted, some of these plays work,
right.
but I'm still not sold on Brian Johnson yet.
I'm not either, and please agree with me with that because everyone keeps saying we don't know what we're talking about when we throwing him out there. But I'm like,
I'm still not sold on him yet. He
I'm not
still
either.
play. He play. He still calls a very vanilla game, and I'm like
And why? Why are they not
doing the
as aggressive?
same, doing that same play over and over again. You know, wide receiver bubble screen. Woohoo! Let's do this again. Like, no, stop doing this shit.
Quarterback draw. Why?
Well, no, the quarterback draw was effective in that game. Actually, I mean, but
Sometimes it's not.
that wide receiver bubble screen, though.
Well, I mean,
One thing I like about the draw can easily get them get the defense catch them off guard because when they're trying to if they're blitzing from the edges and you just like or it's a design play as soon as he hikes the ball and he just takes off and these guys are already coming downhill. It's like, oh shit. By the time they realize that he's already in the next level
and
going
I guess
past
because
them.
that didn't happen in the first half, that's why it seemed like it was a waste of time. Because I felt like if
Yeah.
Jalen did get free, he got sacked or he just ran right into somebody and slid because he knew. So to me, those felt like wasted plays. But
And that was a nasty day to be yeah.
I'm saying, like, if anything, I'm nervous every time he does it that he tweaks his knee again. Or at least he knows how to slide. But sometimes it was like, all right, Jalen, chill. Like, just hold the ball or take the sack. Like, but yeah, it has to be said that there are times that even in every game, whether or not they look bad in the beginning and then they come back in the end, the only time I even felt a sliver before the fourth of any hope was because I knew that they weren't going to be as bad for the whole game. But it wasn't
And give it
until,
to Desai again. Desai made adjustments again with the
and
defense.
that's why, it's
And
hard to not root.
that's something we're not used to, you know?
I'm saying we don't get adjustments that quick in the same game. That's another reason why we're spoiled. Because last year, if they didn't get it right, they took over the whole second half. But this
Hmm.
time around, it's like they do it in game, which is usually not what happens. It usually takes the whole game for them to figure it out. But by second half,
Yeah.
although the first series with that whole mess up with the pass with Jalen to KG was messed up, and I was like, don't start, don't start, don't start, like just don't start
Yeah.
the second
Well, I
half
told you
over.
my feelings about that one. I just was like,
I get
hey,
it,
you can blame both of them for that because he never even made it look like he was gonna even take the ball. Like
right?
he didn't even put his hands up. Like you're supposed to put your hands up. Even the fake doesn't work if you got your hands at your side. It,
And I told Eddie I was mad because I felt like Jalen tries to do this thing where he goes like this, and I just want to be like, steady your hand. He wasn't ready for you. Like that annoyed me
yeah.
too. He did that. He did that with. Well, even though DeAndre ran into AJ ran into DeAndre during the Cowboys game. But Jalen has done that thing where he tried to be slick and then last minute he's not gonna give it, and then it
Yeah, they pull
confuses
it out. They
the
pull it
runner.
out and
Right.
throw a
He
pass or
pulls it
something.
out, and
Yeah.
then the runner's like, "What the heck?" And then the timing's off. So every little, when they try to do that exchange, it gets messed up. So those are the
Yeah.
times I'm mad at Jalen because I'm like, stop, stick with your decision, stop being shady, like just stick to it.
Well,
But
yeah, and at the same time, we don't see what he sees either from
no,
our
I
from
and
our aspect.
obviously that's why he does it because he probably at that moment is like, well, he could go, but he's not. But the runner
He's
at
like,
that
wait,
very
no.
moment doesn't know what the hell's in your mind.
Yeah,
He's trying to just go straight. You're sitting here going,
yeah, but
and I want to just be like,
yeah,
stop it. But yeah, no, Brian Johnson still has a ways to go. I think there's certain patterns. Like, I don't know why it took until the third for them to use Stoll for one pass. Because regardless of whether
that
Goddard's
was
there,
actually a good play.
it
I
was a
give him
good
credit for
play.
that play. That
Right.
was a great
So,
play. It was like
I
blocked, he
mean,
pulled, and he pulled out and was downfield.
you get
Like,
slow. You don't feel like using a double tight end set at some point. Like, Alberto's there for what reason? You know what I mean? Like, if y'all ain't blocking and helping, um,
yeah,
what's his name? Driscoll, who actually snapped back into plays. I thought he was going to be hellish,
I,
but he ended up doing better than
yeah, yeah, and I like the double. I like when
got
they do the
blown up
double
quick
running
though.
back set too. I like that.
Yeah,
It's,
I just think there's certain things that Brian has to realize. Like, you can't stick to the same. It's becoming predictable very quickly in the first quarter. So
yeah,
you need to start using the tight ends, no matter if they're not Goddard or not. Like, Stoll has good qualities, or at least useful, until Gotti comes back. And then you can also start making use of some of them screens. Because some of the reasons why some of them screens also didn't work is because the O line is not prepared to use them, or
mm,
they're not all on the same page, which is probably why later in the game Kelsey got thrown off with two fall. Like sometimes they get out of sync, and
yeah.
this always happens when somebody goes down early. Then Fletch went down, and Jalen got hurt for a brief moment, and then Jordan with his big ass running after. I was so proud of him,
Hey, look,
but he fell
man.
out because he was like, "That is more than I'm used to doing."
Hey, look. If he doesn't do that though, Allen is running down the
Allen, yeah, he
sideline.
would have been
Like
gone.
he's gone. Like he runs him out of bounds.
Shoot,
Like
Jordan is trying
big
to get
man.
a fix six soon at some point. He gonna accidentally f around and get a touchdown.
See a bunch
But
of
I'm
guys
just
on
telling
his
you how dumb
back.
that team is gonna be if that happens. Like if that happens in a 49er game, I will crack up
See a
because
bunch of
he's
guys on
gonna
his
milk
back,
it.
and he's trying to run.
Yo, that would be the best. Okay, so remainder. Truth be told, I had set up a health event that I'm going to be at, and I did not realize I'm going to be missing the 49ers game. Don't yell at me. I did not think about it when I signed up.
uh,
Here's the thing. If you're texting me and blowing me up, feel free, but I'm not going to respond until after 5 o'clock. So the game is at
no, it's okay.
4:25. So if there's any reason you might be over your friend's house, you may not think about it because I was blowing you up more last night than I meant to. But
Yeah,
I was
I'll
also
keep you
having like
posted
up and
there
down
so you can.
emotions.
Yeah.
But I will not be watching the game from beginning to end. So I probably won't see anything until just the end unless they go into dramatic overtime again, which I'm praying they don't.
Oh God, no, not another one.
We
No,
don't need it for
no.
49ers because Lord knows we don't want any excuse to extend this type of a matchup. We've been waiting for this since the NFC Championship game. So granted, it doesn't have the same pool, but what do you feel like this game is going to be like? Because at this point, we're going to have Dwebo back. And they probably learned from last year to not have a backup to the backup. And I hope they have, because if not,
Well,
that'll really embarrass
well,
me.
they're gonna be going after Purdy, so
Huh? What'd you say?
they're gonna be going after Purdy. You know that because
First of
he's
all,
going.
and
He's gonna be a little nervous playing us again.
he's gonna probably there's gonna be moments where Hakeem is gonna give Hakeem Hassan is gonna give him a bit of a scare just out of instinct, like oh, you know what I mean? Like he's
Pressure,
probably gonna do
like
that at least once or twice.
as long as they
But
get in his face, like they're gonna get him rattled. They gotta get him rattled again. Like that's what they're gonna
he's
do.
gonna see ghosts for like at least probably a snap or two. But
Mm-hmm.
what I'm worried about is the defense not being as potent. If not saying that Fletch is the whole defensive line, but Mitch, what
Oh,
is his
Milton should be
Milton?
back. He should be back by then.
I hope he's back by then. I'm just saying, like the shuffling
He
that's
was
going
just
on now with
thinking,
the D line is
yeah, he
making
was
me.
just in concussion protocol, so he should be back.
I hope
He
he
had a
is.
good game. He had a good game against
He's
Kansas
been
City
good
too.
all season. Like silently, he's been the one that everyone's not talking about Carter so much. So I'm just nervous that the O line and the D line will be shaky this time this matchup because they weren't as They
And
weren't
we got
as full of injuries this time last
Hopefully
year.
Lane is okay for next week.
Yeah, Lane, I'm really worried about
Because when
because
he's not in there,
he's not
it
having the
definitely
same issue.
it throws the rhythm off when he's not in there.
Honestly, but you're correct. This is why with that game time decision that came out of nowhere that he was on the report. Nobody saw that coming. Somebody said he woke up and probably was messing with the missus last night, and that's why he has a growing injury. And I actually saw somebody, of course,
Oh,
because everybody puts stuff on Twitter. Somebody showed that they actually underneath I guess his wife had a picture of her with the Kelly Green thing, but it had Lane's name on it. And so someone underneath actually had the audacity to ask her, "Are you the reason why he's on the injury report? You know what? Never mind. Go first." And all she
yo,
did was comment with laugh emojis. So I'm like, at least she took a joke out of it because she
yeah,
could have
yeah.
totally been like, mind your business, you know what I mean? But she just sent like laugh emojis, and I'm like, is she guilty?
She put it
I mean,
on the
come
next
on,
day.
his wife is attractive, so it's like, I mean, I would think you know the protocol that y'all can't be getting busy right before game time because you know that'll make your legs all weary. So I would think that if that's true, if
So
I
she
were her,
put it
I'd
on
raise
him,
my
huh?
hand sheepishly. I'm guilty. It's been a few weeks. I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it in. But no, but I thought that was funny. But I was like, the fact that someone even, and he didn't say it crass, like he kind of said it in such a way, like, "Are you possibly the reason why?" You know what? Never mind.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was funny. But I'm just wondering if it's the same injury that he repaired or is it a newer groin injury. But then I'm thinking the weather doesn't help anybody. My back was a mess last night, so rain is not good for
Everything's
anybody with
tight. It's
arthritis.
cold. It's wet. Yeah.
Cold, wet, joints get achy around that time, and the rain
Yeah.
just kept coming. So he probably woke up feeling like death, and then even when he tried to stretch it, you could tell he was like, "It's not going. I'm not a go." But it was a last minute thing, so everybody was panicking. I still felt they could have won without him, but it was like it didn't hit me till they put
Yeah.
Driscoll in, and I realized I'm like, he's not a good replacement, but they keep using him because they said the other guy should be really backing him up. If whoever Fred Taylor, not Fred Taylor, somebody Fred, but they keep saying why don't they use him? But maybe they don't
Oh,
feel
you talking about the rookie?
maybe that's who it is. The Fred, whoever the Fred guy who's I don't know his last name. Forgive me, but
Or you talking about Tyler Steen?
no, they people keep saying something about some guy named Fred that they think that should be the
Well, I
replacement.
can't remember who found because I know Tyler Steen's on the line, and they got you got Opeta.
But I thought Tyler Steen was still on the line. Like I thought that's what, but he was replacing somebody. He was replacing who was he
But Tyler Steen
replacing?
replaced somebody last week.
He
Was it
replaced
Dickerson
Opeta because Opeta
or
was
Cam? He played Dickerson or Cam
right
last
because
week. Yeah.
Cam's back, so he was a replacement for Opeta. Okay, never mind. So
Yeah.
that's why I was saying, yeah, if Cam's back, then that wasn't the missing link. It was for because what is forgive me, fans. Lane is a tackle or a guard? He's a tackle, right?
He is a guard. He's on the end.
See, I don't feel bad. See, okay. Do you see
Yeah,
how that
he's on the end.
happens?
Yeah.
We all looking
He said
like, look, it's
because he
left or
played
right. I don't remember the actual interior positions. I just know he's left
because
or
he
right.
plays opposite of Mulata. Yeah. So
Right, yeah. And so no one's had to replace Melada, knock on wood. He's been pretty stoic all year. But as you can tell, everybody looked. I mean, you saw Sirianni's expressions throughout the whole game. He was trying to keep it in, but there was a couple times he was like, "What the f is going on?" And I don't know if you
yeah.
saw the shot of Jalen sitting next to Brian, but he did not look happy.
Oh no. No,
You
he
could tell he
knew.
was
He
looking at
knew
him
that.
like, "Man, I don't know what the freak you doing."
Well, he knew that it shouldn't even came to that. They shouldn't have to even kick that long field goal.
Kick
It should
it,
have been
right,
shorter.
right.
He knew that.
I'm thankful we have a kicker who is capable. Put it that way. We're blessed to have
Every-
like a
yeah,
Tucker
because
like
everybody
dude on our
he's
team.
shaking his head. No, I was like, because he's mad at himself. 'Cause he knew he could have took us down for a winning drive on that play, and we wouldn't even need the overtime. We could have went down and didn't have to worry about tying up. We could have went down and scored a touchdown and won before that.
Well, I, for one, am going to be a real Eagles fan and straight up say I was hoping they would just let the Bills, because at that point the Bills were playing so clean. And I like Diggs. I even at one point liked Josh Allen, but now I'm so glad to see people saying he's not a top 10 right now because he's not consistent, and he's not. But he had one of his better games in like 5 weeks. So I'll give him
Yeah,
that for snapping it and locking it down and only throwing one pick, considering how pick happy he was two
Well,
months
yeah,
ago.
there was a potential two. One got
There was a
dropped.
potential, right? But he
Yeah,
knew when to tighten it up, and he didn't look skittish like he normally does. Considering the weather, he could have totally just been ripping that thing left and right. But he was
there was
smart with the
one.
ball.
There
What'd
was
you say?
one he threw, and I wish the defense. No one knew what was going on. Everybody was standing around looking like, why did that ball go that way?
Yeah,
And when Eagles defenders who even saw it, they probably could have picked it and ran it all the way
picked it
back.
off.
'Cause
Yeah,
it was the one he
yeah.
threw to the sideline. He literally threw it right to the sideline, and
Was
nobody
that
was
the one
ready
that hit
for it.
Eli in the butt?
No, not that one. That one, no one was even standing. None of his
Yeah,
players were even ready for it. It just went right out
yeah.
of bounds.
I don't remember.
And I was
I
like,
was watching the highlights before we recorded. I'm gonna go back and watch. But I thought about you because I was looking at I think I tagged you on Twitter when they showed when they were showing Jordan doing the chase, and so I tagged you on Twitter because I would be like, "This is exactly the clip I was talking about." Because then they showed how long he laid out because he was probably like, "Jesus!"
and he's like, I'm tired. Man, he fell right out.
Everybody thought he was really hurt, but someone said,
Like,
"Nah, he knocked the
he
wind
got the
out of
wind.
himself.
He
He
got the
wasn't
wind
hurt
knocked out of him. He fell right on his stomach
on
too.
his gut. He fell on that gut." Um, but coming up for this game, and so I'm gonna need you to just kind of be my eyes and ears while I'm being part of a very cool
No problem.
experience called a sound bath meditation. I've always wanted to try it, and they had a nice little workshop at my friend Pierre's acupuncture place, note to self. So I'm
Oh,
going to
okay.
relax. I, for one, do not want to be stressed in this game, so I pray that once I come out and come home, I have some good news in my phone. So I, of all the games that I would miss, I know, but at this point, with them being 10-1, even if they lost this game, I don't think it matters like it did in the NFC Championship game, like I thought it was.
Yeah.
So
And
now
hey,
that they
and
have the best record in the NFL, I really don't think fans should be as pressed
yeah,
about this game, but we do want a good game as always, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
So,
even though Kelsey had a couple of problems on that drive, his block is the one that sprung Jalen for that touchdown too.
right, yeah, exactly. Oh
I mean,
yeah.
he came out and demolished that his guy.
Oh, that's what I meant to tell you. I did go back and
Yeah.
see that.
You
Yes,
saw
because
that?
you did
Yeah.
tell. Yeah, I did see that because when I think I sent it to you, or either I saw it on social media and I was like, all right, Eddie, I see what you're talking about. He did level that dude out. So yeah, you're right, and that's the thing that you got to love about the O line too. Even if they're having a crappy general game, like people say, those key plays that do win the game are all that matters. The whole game can be bull, but if they
Hmm.
make it in the fourth quarter or when it matters, that's what you have to be thankful for. I mean, speaking of post Thanksgiving, that is what you have to be thankful for with this team. They can
Oh
test our
yeah,
life insurance policies, but you
yeah. Well,
guarantee they are
they do what
undefeated in
they
drama.
find. They find ways to win. They're battle tested. They find ways to win.
They
And
define
that's the problem.
adversity.
There's these teams that don't know how to win when the situations get bad. No,
I think that's the point I heard a lot of people say on all the media shows when I was watching some clips is that they said to me they're saying MVP with Hurts again because they're saying
that's how you win Super Bowls, though. I mean,
that's the fact that you
resilience.
don't
Yeah,
panic, the fact that you a lot of people want to say like he's always so serious. I'm like because in my mind, I think he's literally sitting on the bench and literally talking to God like I think I know what I have to do. I think
no,
we can do this. He's
that man is cold.
visualizing what he has to do.
That man is cold blooded. Yeah,
Cold blooded, ice in the
cold
veins.
blooded.
And the fact that he only smiled until the end, even after all the interviews were happening, is like it finally kind of kicked in. I think towards the end, like when he was running back and clapping at the fans, like I think he realizes like if it's got to be this way, it's just oh well. Like I ain't got no words. Like I had to do what
Yeah,
I had to do. And like I said, I'm thankful. I wish it was smoother, but if this is the gritty way they got to get back to Vegas,
it's
so be
dirty.
it. I will take every heart attack as long as I am not in the hospital.
Yeah.
I just want to
Did
live
you,
to see the Super Bowl this time because that's going to be some kind of finish.
did you
Um,
see the video I sent you about the when he's like talking to him before he came to the NFL, and the guy was like, "Yeah,
I
so
did
you're
see, yep,
30, you're 30-4 in college and victories." He's like, "It's not gonna be like that in the NFL." He even smiled. He's like, "We'll see."
because he grinned because he was like, "You assuming that I'm not going to be capable of handling
Yeah,
wins and
like
losses?
he's
Like
like, "We'll see." And now he's what, only
only have
four
one
losses,
loss, only
four
one loss."
losses in his last like 2 seasons.
For
So
him to
it's
say
like,
3 or 4 between two schools, that's saying a lot, especially when he wasn't even close to the player he is now. Then,
yeah,
so this is what my sister was trying to tell me, even when he was shaky in his second year, and I was sitting there going, "I don't know, niece." She was like, "You got to give him time." She's like, "He knows what he's doing," and I was like, "All
yeah, he
right."
he humbled himself. He learned, and that's what he did.
And we're
That's all you
blessed.
can.
And we're blessed. We're 10-1. Our team is the best team in the division. God bless America. And the next game with the 49ers will be exciting in the sense that obviously it's a rematch. This feels more like the rematch than the Kansas City Chief game, honestly.
Yeah.
But
Well, because
we also know they're two different teams again.
they cried so much. That's why.
That's why I love that Hassan said, tell them to line shit up again and keep talking.
Yeah.
He straight up said, like, y'all bitch the whole damn off season.
That's
And
all
y'all
they
mad
did was
about
cry.
stuff that y'all should have controlled, not us. Y'all should
It's
have
like
controlled that.
it's like Keyshawn and Sherman say to Skip every Monday. They're like, "Oh, coulda, shoulda, woulda." Every time something happens, he always like you always want to bring up all these little dumb things. Oh, this should happen this way, but it didn't happen that way. So
And
I
at the end of the
mean,
day, you can only be mad at your coach for not having an emergency QB. That's really the bottom line.
yeah, that's it.
Because y'all would have had a shot. We didn't have to beat y'all that early. Y'all gave up early.
I mean,
And
y'all just wasn't prepared.
y'all weren't
That's
prepared. So if there's one thing I think we've all learned from all of these teams this year, especially with some of the mediocrity that's in the NFL right now,
mm-hmm.
preparedness is definitely the best way to a win. Period.
Yeah,
You got to be ready
exactly.
for all circumstances, even when it looks like a hot mess, which sometimes we can look like. But I'm happy that it comes out in a win. So
Like I say,
I'm gonna try to
like I
learn
said,
to stop bitching about ugly wins.
like they
Just
say in
because
the airport, keep your eye on your luggage.
what you say? What you
Like they
say?
say in the airport, keep your eye on your luggage.
This is true.
Just keep
This
an
is
eye and
true
watch
because
it doing.
I'm telling you, by week 14, 15, everybody's gonna be trying to be like us because they really in denial that we're the standard, even though we're not playing. As he said, they're not playing to their standard,
Yeah, I'm
but we are the
still
standard.
a reigning NFC champ. So I mean, hey,
And that ain't even gonna make a difference when they win the division. That's not even what they care about right now. They know what
yeah,
they really want. We can win the
yeah,
conference or we can lose the conference. It don't matter. We want the
hmm
Super Bowl. Like that's
yeah.
we
That's
they
the
have
end game.
unfinished business.
That's the end game. You know, that's what it's supposed
End
to be.
game. But
Yeah.
anyway, all right, Ed. Well, it was good to chat as usual. I'm gonna get ready. I know you're starving. I'm gonna go get ready to chat with my friends with benefits and see the thing is group chat tonight. And like I said, I'll be missing the game, but I won't be missing the game if you know what I mean next Sunday. So give yourself the rest of the week to just ease into the work week, less
Oh
stressed
yeah.
out.
hmm
Tonight, I think what is tonight? Minnesota and Chicago. So I'm praying that Josh Dobbs can win this game because I don't see any reason for.
Should be a good game though. Justin Fields is back. Should be a good game to watch.
Oh, Justin Fields is back. Okay, maybe
Yeah.
I might do that. All right. Well, either way, birds of a feather. Your girl AJ the Sperm Princess, Eddie
Eddie
B,
B.
and we will be back to talk post 49ers. Lord help
Yep.
us all. All right. Y'all have a good night. Peace out.